Bit of breaking news yesterday down in Eugene. Matt Zenitz of CBSSports.com is reporting that veteran wide receiver Evan Stewart could miss the 2025 season after suffering a lower body injury this week. He, of course, decided not to go into the draft. He came back. That was a big deal for them because they had experience on the outside. He had some big plays for them last year, obviously, after transferring from A&M. And Matt Zenitz is saying, your dude.
My dude.
Out for the year.
Yeah, it's been confirmed. Zachary Neal, who covers the Ducks down at Eugene, has confirmed it. It's a knee injury. Oof. And nobody knows if it's the entire year or the majority of the year, but I think just go ahead and chalk it up that you're probably not going to see a lot of Evan Stewart this year. And, man, it sucks, dude. Like, you go through injuries in fall camp, you go through injuries in spring ball, but spring ball's done. And fall camp is not here yet. And so I think from what I read, he was just running in some 7-on-7, clearly banged up his knee to a point where it was concerning. And now the news has been released that he's going to miss the entire year. You're replacing a lot of production at wide receiver. Tez Johnson was a monster for you in the slot. Trayshawn Holden had a great career at Oregon despite the spitting incident. And you look to Evan Stewart to be the fill-in guy as your number one wide receiver. Now, remember, he didn't play in the Rose Bowl. He got a back injury, I believe. He did not participate at all in the spring game. He was standing on the sideline. That was one of those weird, like, why isn't he in the game? He was in uniform, not playing. Everybody was kind of wondering, why isn't he out there? For those of us sickos who watched the spring game, he was on the field, just not playing. And now you get the news he's going to miss the rest of the year. And when you have you shouldn't say first-time starting quarterback because Dante Moore has started some games, but a new starting quarterback that you're breaking in, one of the things that you want to surround him with is as many weapons as possible, and that's been one of the things that has alleviated some of the concerns about what will Dante Moore look like, is look at all the pieces he has to work with. Well, now one of the biggest pieces is going to be off the board for you.
Could you tell us, so if he is out now, and obviously there's some pretty notable names of star note, but what's that receiver room look like without Evan Stewart for the year?
I mean, I think Justice Lowe came on last year, and I thought had some nice moments, so you're going to lean on Justice Lowe. Gary Bryant missed basically the entire year last year. He was an impact wide receiver for you the year before, so he will be back. I don't view either of them as a number one guy. After that, you're going with who is the highly touted recruit that can have a big year.
He's a five-star kid coming in.
DeCorian Moore is the number one wide receiver in the country. He looked great in the spring game, but he's a true freshman. So will it translate right away? Will it take a couple of years? We don't know.
Well, last year, not to interrupt you, but last year you had two five-star
massive
receivers in Alabama and Ohio State say, doesn't matter our age.
Doesn't matter at all.
We can be studs.
And then there was a kid at Texas Tech who didn't do anything, who was one of the highest-rated wide receivers in the country. So that's the thing with recruiting. You just never know. But I think you lean on DeCorian Moore if you can. I think Jeremiah McClellan, who was a highly touted recruit, he's going to be a redshirt freshman, just redshirted last year, is a guy that they'll look to. Malik Benson was a transfer they brought in from Florida State, a guy who is not a number one, but you got a lot of good. They're essentially like the Portland Trailblazers of wide receivers at this point. They do have some guys with high upside, but it's unknown. And then you have a lot of good role players as your wide receivers. Like Gary Bryant's a good wide receiver. He's not a number one. I wouldn't look at him as a game changer. Same thing with Justice Lowe. Same thing with the Malik Benson. And so it comes down to, can McClellan or DeCorian Moore be that guy?
How much more important is Sadiq now?
You need Kenyon Sadiq to live up to the baby Brock Bowers name. If this news holds, which it looks like it will, that Stewart will be out for the entire year.
Yeah, I don't think everybody's posting this stuff without having that information.
I think Kenyon Sadiq has the opportunity to be one of, if not the best tight ends in the entire country this year. I think that highly of him, and so you're going to just pray that he stays healthy and that you can rely on him as a security blanket for your new starting quarterback this year.
Did you scream into a void when you saw this, or are you not surprised by it?
He's battled. I feel bad for him. He's battled a lot of injuries in his career. This was a problem for him at Texas A&M. He couldn't stay healthy. Yeah. He got injured last year, missed the Rose Bowl, biggest game of the year. Couldn't play. You didn't have your number two wide receiver. That was a massive blow for them early. So part of it is just feeling bad for him, and then. It's funny, though. Sometimes these injuries happen, and then you never know what the offshoot of it is going to be.
You might get a DeCorian Moore.
Maybe it's DeCorian Moore looking like Jeremiah Smith this year. Maybe it's Jeremiah McClellan. Maybe it's, remember Jurion Dickey? Remember when they signed Jurion Dickey? He's still there.
Is he still wearing 99?
He's still there. He doesn't wear 99 anymore, but he's still there. And so he was a five-star kid. Is he going to have a breakout year? Like, you're just looking at a lot of young players who are highly touted recruits saying, can any of you step in and be a number one wide receiver? Because I think they desperately desperately need that, and Evan Stewart was going to be that.
Very quickly, because I want to get to the second hour. We'll get back into some final stuff. Is this the kind of news for you? Because we still got to get summer ball here, fall ball. Is this the kind of news that changes expectation or thought of what their season is? Their schedule's pretty manageable.
I wouldn't go that far yet.
You think so? This is like, okay, this blows, this sucks, but they can overcome this.
I think they have the ability to overcome it. Will they? I don't know, but I do think there's enough talent in that room that I'm going to hold out a little bit of hope that one of those guys has the ability to look like a number one wide receiver this year.